let's say we're going to put a chip down and we're going to connect the substrate. So let's do a little control image. And we'll do P sub contact or connection. And now I'm going to go over here to my components. Now, if I look, I've got N active, I've got P active, I've got N well, and I've got P well. Well, in electric, it assumes that you have two wells. And we don't, but just we can send that layer to manufacture. It just ignores it at the fab. We can't make a P well layer because we're starting with a P-type substrate. But we're going to, in our layouts, to keep them as generic as possible, we're going to do that. So we're going to use a P well. So I take that and I drop it down in here. So let's do a control I, center it. Okay, hit fit. Now, what is this big layer right here, if you can see it? Well, we never draw a substrate. Well, it's the P well. Remember I said that we can show a P well, it's trivial. That's the P well. Okay, I'll do a 3D view in a moment. What's this green? It's active. It's the active. That opens up the hole in the substrate. What's this yellow, the medium-sized box? Does that work better? Oh. Okay, so the yellow is P-select. That does the implant. Now, here's a 2-point quiz question. Why does the P-select have to be bigger than the active? Yeah, so it's always covered. If the mask shifts one way or another, I still get my implant in there. What is the black box in the middle? Contact, right? Because when we go from metal one down, it's called a contact. And then what's the blue right here? Metal one. Now, you know what? Let me go back here to my preferred white background. And I go over here, and I'm learning, so I want, wait, maybe I can't. Well, if I were able to show the layers, but I've got such a low resolution screen here, I would show you what the metal layer looks like by itself, but you can do this on your own. So I'll go back, I'll press 3, and then I see, hey, this is the well, P well, this is my active, which is surrounded by the yellow, so it's P-type. There's my contact, and there's my metal. Ideally, how much current flows on in the substrate? None. My substrate's at ground, it's all equal potential, I get no current flowing on it. So now I want to connect this node to a pad, so I'm going to left click and right, hit X a few times, go out. You know what, I want to see what that looks like. Oh, pretty cool. Now I want to go to a pad, so I'm going to go in and take one of my pads here, drop it in there. Whoops. Hit. Yeah, so you see the connection to the pad. Let's take a look at the pad. It's really big. And let's see, I'm going to continue over and I'm going to make a connection, and it's connected. If I hit F5, I'm going to get an error because I've got a pin in the middle of the wire, but let's find out. One error. Hit the greater than bar, and let's delete that. Let's try it again. Uh-oh. Oh. Well, I did this the last time too. He said he sent it to the right people to fix it, but anyway, let me redo that. You know what, though? Once it gets into that mode, it keeps doing it. Alright, we'll just continue on. and ignore that. All right, so you notice how tiny that pad is. If I go to a 3D view, you can see that I go over and I connect in. One of the benefits of using the pads with 3 layers. See how little that contact is? I want you to tell me, how would I make more contacts without too much pain? Say I wanted to hold the substrate down in lots of area, because that's what's normally done. They don't do it just in one little contact. They have a lot of area that they hold the substrate down in. Well, I could go click on that, hit Control I, and then I could go, oh, I want my Y size to be 250. And now, if I look, I've got all these contacts that automatically sized it for me and goes over and makes a connection. I can slide it up if I, whoops, I think I need to, there we go. Now what, I can then come over here, I, 250, whoops. How do I make it so it doesn't extend the ends? Neither end. And I can slide this up where I want it to go. Slide this one down. And zoom in, etc. Okay, are there any questions on making a substrate connection? So this is how, and then we would write on here that our pad is a ground. How do I write in metal, Amos? How do I write in metal? Where? I did. Alright, so right here. So I'd put GND. What's that? Increase the size? Alright, I was going to make it a little bigger, but oops. How do I move all of it? Oops, you know what? Let me do it again. What's that? Does it always go right here at the origin? So why would I do this? Oh, you know what? Scale factor, let's go with 50. Dot separation 0. How do you make it even bigger after it's made? Alright, anyway, we can just leave it here. Why would I want to put this in the text? You could see metal. Why would I want to do that? Yeah, when you're probing, you can see, oh, this pad's ground. You know, you need to put your ground probe on that. Yeah. What's that? Yeah, this will be manufactured in metal 1. You might want to put it in metal 3. So here, let me see. Do I have a picture that I can access? Well, here. You might have seen this one already. If you go over to electric and you right-click, save link as. And then we go into here, open. If I go in Explorer, here is Boise State logo in Metal 3. They have artwork that you can put your names in or pictures and scan them in and put them in there. And I've got some pictures of this in fabricated chips. It looks really neat. You can see what's happening. And so chip actually is, here's the layout. And we didn't put the this thing in there because it doesn't DRC once you put that in. Yeah, this low resolution screen. That obviously won't DRC. Yeah. You can. You can connect it under, you can put it in. There's issues with ESD when you are doing this. If you look at these structures here, these are just real simple pads that go over, and then this is VDD right there, which is a connection to the well, and this is ground all the way down there. So keeps it simple. If you start putting things over here where you have your ESD structures, which we don't have any in these, you end up having problems. There's groups that's all they do is the pads, and so you have, and then they test them. And for ESD, because that's a big deal if they can't pass ESD standards. All right, any last minute questions before we get our grade booster? I'll just apologize right now by how easy this quiz is.